The 1950s, the decade of tailfins, chrome, and booming post-war prosperity. America was riding high. Gas was cheap, highways were new, and every family wanted a shiny car in the driveway. But not all cars were built to last. Behind the bright smiles of car ads and the promises of jet-age design were some truly awful machines, cars that broke down, rusted out, or just flat-out embarrassed their owners. Today, we're diving into the top 10 worst cars of the 1950s, where bad ideas met bad engineering, and optimism met reality. Num 10. 1950 Crosley Hotshot. The Crosley Hotshot was America's first sports car after World War II, a tiny two-seater built by a company better known for making radios and refrigerators. At first glance, it looked fun, lightweight, open-top, and cheap. But the fun stopped once you turned the key. Its 724 cubic centimeters, four-cylinder Cobra engine, short for copper brazed, was notorious for self-destructing. The brazed sheet metal block cracked easily when overheated, and it always overheated. The Hotshot could barely reach 60 miles per hour, and it had no real weather protection, rain poured straight onto the seats. Reviewers joked that it handled like a lawnmower with headlights. Crosley shut down by 1952, and the Hotshot faded into obscurity, proof that not every small car deserves a comeback. Num 9. 1958 Ford Edsel. Yes, the Edsel again. Because even in the 1950s, it was that bad. Ford hyped the Edsel as a futuristic, luxury-meets-performance car for the middle class. Instead, Americans got a car that looked like it was sucking a lemon, thanks to that infamous horse-collar grille. Quality control was non-existent. Early models rolled off the line missing parts, leaking fluids, and with hood ornaments installed backward. Mechanically, the push-button gear selector inside the steering wheel often jammed, sometimes while driving. Sales were catastrophic, far below projections, and Ford lost the modern equivalent of over $2 billion. By 1960, the Edsel was dead. It remains the most famous corporate disaster in automotive history, symbolizing everything wrong with Detroit's arrogance. Num 8. 1950 Nash Rambler. The Nash Rambler was supposed to bring Americans a sensible, fuel-efficient compact at a time of booming excess. Problem? Nobody in 1950s America wanted sensible. Buyers wanted chrome, fins, and horsepower, not a frumpy compact that cost as much as a full-size Chevy. Worse, the Rambler's small 173 cubic inch engine struggled to push the car past 80 miles per hour. Its handling was floaty, brakes weak, and styling, let's just say it looked like a refrigerator with wheels. While later Ramblers became popular, the early 1950 models were overpriced and underpowered. Reviewers called them a car for people who don't actually like cars. Num 7. 1955 Kaiser Darrin. The Kaiser Darrin was gorgeous, sleek fiberglass body, sliding pocket doors, European flair. On looks alone, it could have been a Corvette killer. But beauty only goes so far. Powered by a weak Willys F-head engine making 90 horsepower, the Darrin's performance was laughable. And those fancy sliding doors? They jammed constantly, sometimes trapping people inside. Worse, its fiberglass body panels warped in the sun. Production stopped after only 435 units, and Kaiser Motors folded soon after. The Darrin became a symbol of 1950s automotive overconfidence, proof that style without substance sinks fast. Num 6. 1953 Hudson Jet. In the early 50s, Hudson was famous for its step-down design and NASCAR-winning Hornets. But instead of building on that success, Hudson gambled everything on a small car, the Jet. The result? A stubby, awkward compact with styling only an accountant could love. The Jet's inline-six engine was decent, but the car was overpriced, under-equipped, and had none of the excitement of Hudson's big sedans. Critics roasted it for being slow and ugly. The Jet sold poorly and drained Hudson's finances. By 1954, Hudson had merged with Nash to form American Motors, effectively ending the brand. One bad compact car helped kill a racing legend. Num 5. 1957 Renault Dauphine. The Renault Dauphine was marketed as a cute, affordable import that would challenge the Volkswagen Beetle. Instead, it became one of the worst foreign cars ever sold in America. Its 845 cubic centimeters engine produced a miserable 32 horsepower, and it took over 30 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour. Its body panels rusted within a year, the heater didn't work, and the suspension collapsed under US road conditions. Road and Track called it an exercise in frustration. By 1960, tens of thousands of Dauphines sat unsold in dealer lots, many literally rotting before being scrapped. France gave America wine and cheese, but also the Dauphine. Num. 4. 1954 Fiat 600. Europe loved microcars, but Americans weren't ready for the Fiat 600. It looked adorable, until you had to drive it uphill or, worse, fix it. With just 21 horsepower, the 600 struggled even on level ground. Inside, it was so cramped that full-grown adults looked like clowns in a circus car. Early models overheated constantly and leaked oil like crazy. And because Fiat had almost no parts network in the US, owners waited months for repairs. The Fiat 600 proved that cute doesn't equal capable. It became a rolling joke, and a great reason for Americans to buy domestic again. Num. 3. 1952 British Microcars. After World War II, Britain flooded the market with tiny bubble cars, designed for austerity, not America. Models like the Bond minicar, Barclay SA328, and Allard Clipper were built with lightweight materials, motorcycle engines, and optimism, way too much optimism. Most had no reverse gear, no real doors, and barely any brakes. Top speed? Around 45 miles per hour, downhill, with a tailwind. The fiberglass cracked easily, steering was twitchy, and weatherproofing was non-existent. Rain literally poured through the roof seams. When a few made it stateside, American drivers laughed them off the roads. The British microcar craze proved one thing: there's a difference between lightweight engineering and cheap junk. Num. 2. 1958 Packard Hawk. Once upon a time, Packard was America's premier luxury brand, elegant, refined, and built to last. Then came the 1958 Packard Hawk. After merging with Studebaker, Packard tried to save face by slapping their badge on a rebodied Studebaker Golden Hawk. The result? A luxury car with a fiberglass nose that looked like a fish with braces. The interior used leftover Studebaker parts, the ride was harsh, and the build quality was appalling for a premium marque. Packard loyalists were horrified. Only about 588 Hawks were sold. By 1959, the Packard name was dead. The Hawk's failure wasn't just ugly, it was the end of an American icon. Num. 1. 1957 Cadillac Eldorado Brougham. In 1957, Cadillac built the most expensive American car ever, the Eldorado Brougham. Hand-assembled, stainless steel roof, suicide doors, air suspension, and even a perfume dispenser. It was supposed to be perfection. Instead, it was a mechanical nightmare. The pioneering air suspension leaked constantly, leaving cars sagging on the ground. The power seats and trunk mechanism shorted out. And the hand-built nature meant no two cars fit together quite right. At over $13,000 in 1957, more than a Rolls-Royce, it lost money on every unit. Owners loved the luxury but hated living in the repair shop. Cadillac dropped the air suspension by 1960 and quietly moved on. The Eldorado Brougham was beautiful, but also the perfect example of 1950s excess gone wrong. If you enjoyed this ride through the worst of the 50s, hit like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments. Which 1950s car do you think deserves the worst ever crown? Thanks for watching, and remember, chrome can shine, but it can't hide bad engineering.